And good morning. Welcome to the Planet Power Hour. It's Chris Logan. Monday, cold Monday here in Acadiana. Got a question up on our Listen to the Planet Facebook page if you want to go and check it out. I see a lot of people talking about the cold weather. Some positive, some not that positive. So I asked the question this morning. Maybe we'll get to some results later. I did get a good bit of comments, but it's what do you rather, the hot weather or the cold weather? Right now it's 41 degrees. Going to get up to 63 today. Low this morning was 37. So I didn't have to wait for meteorologists to tell me that. I pulled out my phone and there it was. So the Power Hour. Going on from 8 until 9. Do this Monday through Friday on the Planet. Also live on my personal Facebook page and live on the Listen to the Planet Facebook page. Got a YouTube channel set up. The Planet Power Hour with Chris Logan. Go and subscribe. You can get all the content there. Each and every day after the show is over, I upload it. Also, we're on Spotify too with the Planet Power Hour. And then I'm hoping this week we'll get the Google Podcast and Apple Podcast published. That's going to be strictly audio there. But what do we do in the Power Hour? We talk about all the daily headlines and stories. Like today, going to visit Saturday Night Live. Dave Chapelle was on Saturday Night Live. Also going to talk about Dustin Poirier. Win on Saturday. Also going to talk about the Dallas air show crash. Man, that was crazy. Yellowstone, going to talk a little politics because the midterm election's still not over, a week later, and we probably won't know until December. Also, Black Panther was out on Friday. That made a lot of money. We'll talk about that later. And then we're going to have to talk football. The Saints, man, we lost to the Steelers. We lost to the Steelers. Talk about that later. Because, on Fridays and Mondays, we have the Planet Pigskin Update. We do that at 8:50, thanks to Pasalic Cajun Seasoning, pasalic.com. Also going to talk a little LSU football during that time as well. And we got, what's his name? Harold Perkins Jr. playing with the flu. He was compared to someone, and he didn't know what coach was talking about. So that's coming up later in the Power Hour, too. But I wanted to visit this first, and that's the weather. Because we got a good bit of comments already on my Listen to the Planet Facebook post. So I'll put this. Seeing a lot of posts about the weather this morning. What do you rather, cold weather or hot weather? Comment below. Chad says, if I can have 70s with low humidity, then I'll take 100 degrees. Dang. Amy says, how about a perfect 75, a sunny, 75, I guess she meant and sunny year-round. That's not asking for too much, is it? No, it's not, Amy. Tyler says, I would take 103 but before 23. I hate the cold. Scott says 72 is where I need to be, over 85 and under 65, and I'm miserable. Okay. Dane says, meh, however the weather may be, as long as it doesn't make me sweat when eating my gumbo. You got it, Dane. Jenny says, loving the cold weather. David says, hot weather is the best. Jason says, cold weather fan right here. Matthew says, warm, not hot, not cold. I used to be a hot weather guy. And I guess as I'm getting older, right, as I'm getting closer to the 50 mark, I'm kind of rathering the cold weather. Or maybe the cool weather. Look, and that's a lot to ask here in South Louisiana. It's hard to ask for perfect weather because I feel we're either like hot or cold. We don't get a lot of time in between. That 75, the sunny and 75 that I think Amy was talking about. But go and comment on the Listen to the Planet Facebook page. I have that post up there for you to go and comment on. Hot weather or cold weather. What do you prefer. Going to start by talking about Saturday Night Live. And look, we got a couple things we're talking about this morning. Well, actually, a few things we're talking about this morning that I didn't fully watch. But Saturday Night Live happened, of course, Saturday night. And Dave Chapelle, the host. I love Dave Chapelle. I was a Dave Chapelle fan back in the day. Chappelle Show. Went to see Dave Chapelle. Man, I guess that was 04. I'm guessing maybe 05 in New Orleans. He did a stand-up show there. So that was like after Rick James, Lil Jon, all that stuff really blew up with the Chappelle Show. And he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. Because I think he didn't expect the show to do that well. But there were people in the crowd, hollering, "What? Yeah." Or I'm Rick James, B. And he did not care for it. He was going to walk off the stage if people would have continued to yell out all of his popular catchphrases. But some people, including me, was excited to see Dave Chapelle. Some people weren't because of what he said in his recent stand-up. Now, I say recent. Wasn't that like, I don't know, maybe months ago, maybe a year ago? I don't know what it is now. But I was expecting Dave Chapelle to tackle all the topics, and he did. He did Kyrie Irving. He talked about Kanye West. He talked about Donald Trump. He talked about Ukraine. He talked about it all. And I thought he talked about it because I watched it after the fact. I didn't get to watch it live. I was DJing a wedding on Saturday night. I thought it was genius the way he, I guess, maybe went about it. Now, of course, there are some people now that saying it was anti-Semitic. He shouldn't have said anything about Jews. He started out, he kicked off his monologue by saying, quote, "I denounce anti-Semitism in all its forms, and I stand with my friends in the Jewish community, and that, Kanye, is how you buy yourself some time." So was it a little edgy? Yes. Did we expect anything less than that? No. Also a great line, and I don't mean great, but he says, "I've probably been doing this 35 years now, and early in my career, I learned that there are two words in the English language you should never say together in sequence." And he said, quote, "and those words are thee and Jews." He said, "I've never heard anyone do good after they said that." He also talked about Adidas dropping Kanye, talked about Kanye being a billionaire, and then he talked about billionaires wearing chains, according to Kanye. Go back and watch the monologue if you want to. I'm not going to play the whole thing this morning, but we will play something that he said at the end. And I think it's 100% true. Now, look, he tackled it all in about 15 minutes. And if you're into comedy, you're into stuff, you have to laugh at things that maybe you care about. Because I feel comedians should just be able to go to town and tell jokes. But it's not what it's like in today's climate. He also went on to say a couple other things. He says it shouldn't be scary to talk about anything. In fact, I think I have that. I think I have that pulled up. If we can, I want to go to the end. Let me see if I can get it. I want to go to what he said at the end. Because I feel, in just my opinion, I think he is 100% correct on this. But let me get it pulled up. Because I'm my own producer, I'm my own everything here at the Planet and Chris Logan Media. And during the Power Hour, there's nobody helping me out doing it here. But let's listen a little bit to what he said at the end. And this is Dave Chapelle on Saturday Night Live. And I don't think it's coming through. Is it coming through? Is it not coming through? Hang on. Let me see. Man, you see, these technical difficulties gonna get me again. I thought we were. Maybe I know why. Now I know why.
It's
There we go.
$1.5 billion and a.
All right, so he talks a little bit about Kanye at the end. And then he says his end part.
It shouldn't be this scary to talk about anything. It's making my job incredibly difficult. And to be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this. I love you to death. And I thank you for your support. And I hope they don't take anything away from me. Whoever they are. We got a great show tonight.
So that was pretty good by Dave Chapelle at the end. But it's true, we can't talk about anything anymore. One more time.
It shouldn't be this scary to talk about anything. It's making my job incredibly difficult. And to be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this. I love you to death. And I thank you for your support. And I hope they don't take anything away from me. Whoever they are.
So that was his monologue on Saturday Night Live, the end of it. And again, it was about 15 minutes. It's all over social media. It's on YouTube, Saturday Night Live. They have their own channel. He also did a couple pretty good skits. The House of Dragons was pretty good, where he brought back some of his old characters from the Chapelle Show. And then another one that a lot of people are talking about, he plays a blues musician called Potato Hole. And you just have to go and watch it if you want to know about the Potato Hole and what Dave Chapelle said. And I think there was another skit where he kind of killed off some of his own characters. I forgot what they officially call that, but if you want to go back and watch it, I thought he did a good job. Some people are ragging him. Some people are saying it was anti-Semitic in the stuff that he was talking about. But it's true. We cannot talk about anything anymore, which gave me, doing that. And it's not that I want to get edgy here on the Power Hour. I don't. But I'd like to bring up a lot of the headlines of the day, whether they are a little questionable or not. Because when I was on the radio, we really couldn't. I remember getting an email after the 2020 election, saying not to talk about it. And like when I did, and it was an email coming from, corporate on down. And I'm like, oops. Dang. But I want to talk about some of those things. And we will here in the Power Hour. Dustin Poirier on Saturday night got a win. He and Chandler were going at it, man. He and Chandler were swinging hands. And I did not watch the fight either because I was DJing a wedding on Saturday night. How did I watch it? Well, I watched it on TikTok. After I was done with the wedding, watched every bit of the fight on TikTok. Dustin Poirier beat Michael Chandler by submission 2 minutes into the third round. A rear naked choke. Is a title fight next for Dustin? We'll see. Had an opportunity to go, too, with my buddy Drew. He texted me about, I don't know, it was like 3-4 weeks ago. Hey, man, got an extra spot if you want to come. And I couldn't. I had a wedding to DJ Friday night, had a wedding to DJ Saturday night, and I'm just not going to cancel on a wedding. And I was just kind of not right doing that to somebody on their wedding day, even though it would have been cool as hell to go to New York again, Madison Square Garden, watch the UFC fights, but I had to tell Drew no. But Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier going at it. I mean, there was a point, I think it was in the second round, maybe, where Dustin caught him with a punch like square in the nose. And I think, to quote Joe Rogan or whoever it was, said that Chandler's nose exploded. And you can see that in a video. Go watch some of the highlights. It's just blood, just pow. But they were going at it. Also, Michael Chandler responded to Dustin Poirier's kind of cheating / foul play accusations. He said, quote, "I ain't a cheater." So Michael Chandler denied malice or intentional foul play. This is from MMAJunkie.usatoday.com. Dustin accused Michael Chandler of fish hooking his mouth in an attempt to get him to open up for a rear naked choke. Chandler said, quote, "My fingers did go in Poirier's mouth, but that it was by nature of the position they were in, and it was an accident." He went on to say, "I'll admit his mouth was open and my hand went inside there and was on his mouthpiece." Says he bit down. I was trying to pull it out. It wasn't as though I was trying to pull it out and he was biting it and I couldn't get it out. He says it was more of the angle. You're getting pushed up against the cage. He says, it's just difficult, end quote. Also, Dustin was complaining about getting hit on the back of the head when Michael Chandler was landing ground and pound, and that Michael Chandler was purposely blowing out blood from his nose to shoot on Dustin Poirier. Chandler denied malicious intent on both. So Dustin had a couple accusations on Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler denied it. But dude, I have it here. Watch if I can. I'll show you real quick, and it may be kind of hard to zoom in. But this, again, from MMAJunkie.usatoday.com, and look at Michael Chandler. Dude looks like that episode of Martin back in the day when Martin was in the boxing ring. Who was it with? Maybe Spinks. Remember that from back in the day? Go and Google that. And Martin's face is all jacked up. And obviously it's all makeup and it's meant to be funny. But that's who Michael Chandler looks like. And he kind of plays with his nose. His nose was busted. But congratulations to Dustin Poirier. Big win, big fight, and it's a title shot up for Dustin next. So still on the way in the Power Hour. Got our Planet Pigskin update. Going to do that probably about 30 minutes. Got to talk Saints, got to talk LSU. Black Panther made a bunch of money over the weekend. It hasn't been a movie that made this amount of money in a while. Also going to talk about the crash at the Dallas Air Show. Going to talk Yellowstone. And still no results for the midterm election. None. And it is Monday, November 14th. Like a week after Election Day. And still nothing. Although it's a little bit closer now. Let me pull up website. Hang on. Now, so we may not know who controls the Senate until December. Maybe the House sooner than that. May have to wait until the Herschel Walker-Warnocker vote to see who controls the Senate. Till December. Now, Republicans are projected to win 220 seats in the House, 2 more than the 218 needed to take the majority. According to NBC News, the Democrats look like they will take 215 seats. That was as of Saturday morning. But still, we don't know anything. Arizona, Nevada, Georgia. And there's a lot of jokes going on about counting votes. You know, how can some states have more votes and do it quicker while these states don't have as much and it takes them more time? And I guess we shouldn't, I feel we shouldn't have to question the integrity of an election. But I think we I think we need to, right? I mean, a little bit. Doesn't this kind of make you question things just a little bit? As an American, as supposedly being the best nation in the entire world, and we can't get an election in a day? No, thought there was going to be a red wave. That was a lot of talk. That didn't happen. Now, Democrats could control the Senate. Republicans could control the House. But there's one seat left in play when it comes to the Senate. And then there are 19 House seats left in play for the 2020 midterm elections. And it's Monday, November 14th. Probably won't know anything officially till December. We'll see what happens with the House. But does that make you question anything? It's all right. You can say yes. You can say no. We can agree to disagree, but it makes me question things a little bit that this takes so long. It's 2022. There's no better way for us, for the entire nation, to make a better election. Said Democrats voted on democracy and abortion. That's why they came out in higher numbers. Is that democracy waiting over a week, over a month to get election results? Don't know. Well, in fact, I do. I think my answer is no. Whether you want to agree with me on that or not, that's cool. We can indeed agree to disagree. We should. We should. Yellowstone. That's another popular topic today. And I have to be honest, I've never watched one episode of Yellowstone. I guess I better try watching some of it. I hear a lot of good things about it, but I haven't watched, I'm going to say, one full episode, because I did watch a piece last year. And what's the season? Season 5? So I guess I would really have to go back and watch 4 seasons and then jump into season 5. Do I have time for that? Not really. But I did, and it caught me by surprise when I flipped it there. I think it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, one Sunday night, because I saw a lot of people talking about it on social media, as they were last night. Saw a lot of people posting the logo for Yellowstone. I thought it was something totally different. Looked at it and I'm like, what is this? And I thought it was something else. I'm not going to say what I thought it was, but it's like, man, this looks like something, but it's not. It's a Yellowstone logo. But when it was a year or two ago, time passes by so fast, may have been like 2 years ago. I caught just minutes of Yellowstone, and I heard like 50 F-bombs, and I'm like, what? Like, I wasn't expecting that. Because it was on, Paramount? CMT? Paramount? Yeah, it's on Paramount. I wasn't expecting that language, and it kind of threw me back. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this was like a cowboy ranch show. But it was like F this and F, and I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Back in the day, and things change, but back in the day, man, like those words were on the paid cable channels. Now, nope. So that kind of caught me a little bit. And then, ladies going crazy for What's his name? Is it Rip from Yellowstone? But and I didn't want to mention a lot of things about Yellowstone because there's some rumors about this season. And again, I don't watch it, so I did a lot of searching this morning. I also didn't want to give anything away because I know a lot of people watch it. So I wanted to watch what I said about the episode last night because, I mean, I didn't watch it, but I didn't want to give away any spoilers. But I'm reading a few things. But Rip Wheeler is his name. Cole Hauser. That's the real dude who plays Rip. And I didn't know it until my wife told me this. She was like, you realize who that is, right? And I'm like, no, I do not. And she was like, look at him. Now, my wife doesn't watch Yellowstone either. But she was like, look at him. And I'm like, I don't know who that guy is. And she was like, look. And then she was like, Good Will Hunting. So I cannot see Cole Hauser as Rip on Yellowstone without seeing him as Billy in Good Will Hunting. I love Good Will Hunting. Back from 1997, great movie. My favorite line from that was, well, my favorite part of that movie was when Matt Damon kind of gets into it with that Harvard guy in the bar, and then they see him at the diner after the bar closes, and he knocks on the window and he asks the guy, do you like apples? And the guy says, yes. And he goes, well, I got a number. How you like them apples? And funniest part of the movie, Good Will Hunting, one of my top 10 favorite movies. But Cole Hauser is always going to be Billy for me from Good Will Hunting, never going to be Rip. He was a brother on The Breakup, right, with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. But to a lot of ladies, he's hot Rip. To me, he's little skinny Billy from Good Will Hunting back in the day. Do I need to watch Yellowstone? Do I need to get on it? Am I missing something there? Comment if I am, and maybe I'll start watching it. Now, I'm really on Cobra Kai because I'm a big Karate Kid fan. So that I'll binge watch. And I tend to watch more funny, entertaining comedy movies or maybe TV shows. I don't really gravitate too much to ranch movies, cowboy movies, although I loved Young Guns back in the day. If I love Young Guns back in the day, should I watch Yellowstone? Maybe I'll jump on it. Also this morning, another movie made some money over the weekend. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, made $180 million over the weekend. That's a record for November and the second biggest opening of the year behind Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That opened with $187.4 million. So Black Panther, Wakanda Forever didn't quite make it, but it had the biggest November opening. Black Panther, the original, made $150 million internationally and had a worldwide total of $330 million. The original Black Panther made $202 million in the U.S. in its opening weekend back in 2018. So again, something that I don't get into the Marvel movies. I just don't. But I ended up watching Black Panther, and I think I watched it Corona time. You know, when we weren't supposed to do anything, they had told us to stay in our houses. Remember that? And we all said, oh, okay. I think that was when I watched Black Panther. Because we had all ran through Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, right? Because we had nothing else to do. Stay in your house. Don't go to the store. Put a mask on. Okay. But I dug Black Panther. I thought it was pretty cool for being one of my first Marvel superhero movies. It's okay. You can call me weird for not watching any of that stuff. But what intrigues me about Black Panther 2 since I watched part 1, and I think I said this either on Thursday or Friday, I think Friday when we talked about it, is just how they're going to move on without Chadwick Boseman and how the show is going to play out. And how they're going to, go without him. I was told it was, or not told, I read it was more about his sister taking over in Wakanda Forever. But I didn't read anything really about part 2 to see exactly what it was about. So we may go and see that. I know my daughter likes it. Maybe we'll go and check it out. And I'll report back to you after we do so. But this is the Planet Power Hour. We are live on the planet. Started this last week from 8 till 9, just nothing but talk. Visiting the daily headlines and stories of the day. Doing it all in 1 hour. Got a YouTube channel set up. The Planet Power Hour with Chris Logan. Go and subscribe. You can watch all of the segments there. We're on Spotify too. The Planet Power Hour. Go and search that. You can watch the videos there if you're a Spotify type person for your podcasting. And then Apple and Google Podcasts coming soon. We'll just do the audio. I'll extract the audio of the show and put it there. And then also we're live on my Facebook page, Chris Logan, and also live on the Listen to the Planet Facebook page. And I'll explain again why I did it. Because I work pretty much by myself. With Chris Logan Media, The Planet, my new station, Millennium. And I wanted to get some online content out there. Wanted to get the YouTube channel kind of going again. Wanted to get a podcast going again. And I didn't really have time to do it all after the morning show on The Planet. So I'm like, well, let's tie it all together. So decided to do 1 hour of talk on the morning show, get it all out there, put it on Facebook Live, get the video recorded, upload it to YouTube. I can cut it up for online content and then do an audio podcast out of it, YouTube channel, Spotify, and it all plays off of this 1 hour Power Hour special every morning. So if you're wondering why I'm doing it, well, that's why. About 10 or so minutes, 10 minutes or so, we're going to talk football. We have the Planet Pigskin Update. It's powered by Pass Elite Cajun Seasoning. That is something we do every Friday morning and Monday morning here on the morning show. On Friday morning, I'll give you the outlook for what's happening the weekend in football, and then on Monday morning, you get the update. Also wanted to mention this, too. We talked about it a couple times last week. We'll talk about it some more. I know there are a lot of events going on. A lot of nonprofits, a lot of businesses, they want to help out during the holidays. This is the 5th annual Making Christmas Come True event put on by the Bandito Shocks. It's happening December 17th at Cajun Harley-Davidson, 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. What they want to do, help out needy children in Acadiana. Every year, their goal gets bigger and better, help reach more children, help reach more families here in Acadiana, and your help is needed to continue making this a success. So they're asking for bicycles. But if you want to bring any other toys, you want to bring monetary donations, you want to donate those, you can. If you do want to give a monetary donation, they're asking you do so before December 10th, and then what they will do is take that money and they will purchase gifts for the kids for the event on December 17th. I decided I'm going to make a donation to this as well for the kids. There's going to be photos with Santa Claus. There's going to be free food. There's going to be a fun jump, toys, and a whole lot more. Again, December 17th, Cajun Harley-Davidson, 9 until 2, the 5th annual Making Christmas Come True, put on by the Bandito Shocks. They like to make as many Christmas wishes come true as they can. and they'll do it with your help. If you want to get more information about that, shoot me a message on Facebook or email me info@listentotheplanet.com. That's info@listentotheplanet.com. Got a few more minutes before we jump into football, and there's a couple other headlines that I wanted to talk a little bit about today. In fact, there's a few different ones. Some are fun, some are not so fun. This one right here is kind of fun. It's also a little strange and awkward. A man-sized emotional support teddy bear now exists. Now, people get lonely, right? Mental health is kind of a real thing. So, like, I'm not making fun of that. I'm making fun of this teddy bear. There's a website, puffybear.com. And they're selling a human-sized teddy bear that you can use as a body pillow. But it's not like those big oversized bears that you won back in the day at Astroworld, Cajun Heartland State Fair. You know, those big-ass teddy bears and stuffed animals. Not really like that. This has the head of a teddy bear in like the body of a man. It's almost nightmarish. This teddy bear has 5 fingers on each hand, but it's not anatomically correct. This bear is 5 foot 7 inches tall. And they say, quote, significantly reduces the feeling of loneliness. If you like this weird teddy bear as your friend, $160 plus shipping. The website says he arrives naked with no clothes, so you can dress him up however you want. He fits into large and extra large men's clothing. Again, puffybear.com if you want to check it out. You want to see, okay, so here's a picture of the bear. And I'll give you a full shot. In fact, well, let me take this off. Again, I don't have a producer, it's just me. This is it. This is the bear. Look at it. It's like a human being with the body. Look at it. It's like a human being. Look at the hands. And I don't know if it's weirder, the hands not being anatomically correct, or the hands being anatomically correct. It's kind of weird. Look, the index finger's short, and then these two, I don't know. Like it just looks all jacked up. But it has the head of a teddy bear, for real. Okay, now you want to see this thing in action? Here, this is the teddy bear in action. Look at that. This lady's lonely. It's Christmas time. They each have on a Christmas sweater. Look at that ugly Christmas sweater. She doesn't have a date. She doesn't have a dude. So she bought the bear. They set up the shot perfectly. Look, Christmas tree. There's another little stuffed animal here. They got some lit candles. There's a wreath. This lady's bed. And look at him. Look at Teddy. We'll just call him Teddy. So she needs a little comfort. Okay. But like she dressed him. They have matching ugly sweaters on, and she got the gray sweatpants. Are those like some little shoes? Let's go back to the big. No, I guess those are his little feet. Look. Now, if you're listening on the planet, you're not seeing this. You're going to have to watch the video to check it out. But see, she even got the classic gray sweatpants, which some ladies like dudes to wear, depending on packages, right? The package size. Gray sweatpants are kind of a thing. But this bear ain't packing anything at all, as you can see by the photo here. There's nothing. but she got gray sweatpants on them and matching ugly sweaters. Again, you want to check this out, want to order it? Hey, that's you. Puffybear.com. 5'7" tall. An emotional support pillow. $160 plus shipping. All right, got it? Even got the gray sweatpants on, man. Couple other things maybe we could talk about real quick before we jump into football. Professional power slapping, now a cable TV sport. I like watching some of those videos. It's this slapping competition. You may have seen it on social media. These two dudes got a lot of powder on their hands. They got mouthpieces on, and they slap each other until someone, I guess, gives up or passes out. I like to see them just get popped and then drop. But Dana White is in on this from the UFC. He's bringing the Power Slap League to TBS, and it starts in January. So what they say about this, two people stand toe-to-toe, take turns slapping each other. So what this is going to be is they'll slap until someone gets knocked out, or if that doesn't happen, there's a point system after a certain number of rounds. Scoring based on a striker's effectiveness along with the defender's reaction and recovery time. So you can literally slap the out of someone. And it's now an official sport. Coming to TBS in January. Can't wait. I'm not watching Yellowstone. You see, I'm not watching Yellowstone, but will I watch this? Yes, I will. And I think everyone knows that prices of everything gone up. You can't go to the grocery store and leave with, I don't know, anything less than $75 now. And that's just buying something for lunch. But there's an article in the New York Post that claims Thanksgiving at a restaurant may be the smart money move this year because grocery store prices have gone up so much. I don't know. I'm not sure. Wells Fargo, according to this article, found that the price of food at restaurants has only jumped 6% since last November, compared to 10% for groceries and 15% for Thanksgiving food specifically. You could also save the hassle if you don't like cooking. You know, a lot of families get together for Thanksgiving, which is a big part of tradition. We do that. Probably you do too. Also read a story last week that because things are tight and prices are so high, some people were making their get-together smaller this year. Other people taking out a dish. But the average dinner last year cost $5.33 per person. So even if that would be doubled, which is probably not, looks like it still could be cheaper to cook at home. There may be some people looking at Thanksgiving being in restaurants this year. Now, that's a story from the New York Post. Here in Acadiana, not many restaurants are open on Thanksgiving. Restaurant owners, their employees, they need a little time off. They need some time to spend with families. You know, even, Walmart, Target, there are a lot of different stores that weren't opening on Thanksgiving because they had Black Friday. But what are you doing? Doing an at-home Thanksgiving, or do you plan on finding a restaurant to go and eat? Let's take a look at our post that's on listentotheplanet.com before we start talking football. I thought I had it pulled up. Hang on, I'll just pull it up on my computer. So I asked the question because a lot of people were talking about the weather this morning on social media. It was kind of cold to start the day, 36 degrees, warming up to think maybe 63, low to mid 60s, the high for today. So ask the question, what do you prefer? Cold weather or hot weather? Let's see, we got some comments. Let's see. I ran some down earlier. Said Matthew, said warm. Not hot, not cold. Hot, cold. Cold weather fan. Hot, 72, where we need to be. Yep. Cold weather, not good for old people. You're right, Chad. Mason says cold all day, every day. Sweat less and eat better foods. Okay. Mentioned that. Patricia, cold or cool weather. Melissa says hot anytime. Amanda says cold. And Valerie says cold. You know, the thing is, and I've always heard people mention this, when the weather is cold, you can put on enough clothes to get warm. When it's hot, you can't take off enough clothes to cool yourself off. You can walk around buck naked if you want to. It's still going to be hot, and you're still going to sweat. But you can bundle up, and you can warm up during the wintertime. So go and comment if you like. That is on our Listen to the Planet Facebook page. So time for our Planet Pigskin updates, where we talk a little football Friday and Monday mornings at about 8:50. We're a little early, but that's okay. And it's all brought to you by Pass a Lick Cajun Seasoning. You can find them at a local store near you. You can also, see if I'm turning it right on camera, and I'm not. Still got to get used to that. They got the hot, they got the spicy, they got a red rub, which you can put on your meat, pork, chicken, beef, whatever it is, before you put it on the pit or before you put it in the pot. Not heavy on the salt either, which is what I like. And no MSG. But some local stores have them. PassALick.com. You can order online. They also have a seafood boil. They're going to have crawfish season coming up, boiling shrimp. Try their seafood boil. PassALick.com is where you can find them. So we're not going to talk much about the Cajuns. Cajuns played on Thursday night. We talked about them on Friday. They have Florida State coming up on Saturday. Going to be a tough game for the Cajuns. Again, winnable game for the Cajuns. At any point, anybody can win. Would be big if Louisiana could beat Florida State on Saturday. I believe, don't get me wrong, I'm going off of what we talked about on Friday. I think that is an 11 o'clock kickoff on Saturday morning, but don't quote me on that. LSU, boy, they had to fight to beat Arkansas. But look, that's an SEC game. Arkansas always plays LSU tight. LSU was coming off a big win against Alabama, and they were able to get the win, though. And I must say, I did watch some of the game. I was with a client of mine doing a TV commercial shoot on Saturday, and they had the game on, so I was able to watch some of it. And I'm also going to say, which you know, I am not an LSU fan. Not going to hate on LSU, though. Not going to hate on LSU fans today. Nothing. But LSU squeaked by a 13-10 road win over Arkansas. LSU's number 7. And I wasn't hoping that LSU lost. I was hoping they can continue it just for the sake of Brian Kelly. But I'm like, man, if LSU drops this game, how will fans feel? But they didn't. They won. So let's not talk about what could have been. But I do want to say this. Harold Perkins Jr. is a man. He is a man amongst boys. And I use that boys term loosely because you got a lot of men playing in the LSU, playing in the NCAA. That was just a little joke, but Harold Perkins Jr., dude is a beast. 5-star recruit, was going to go to Texas A&M, decided to come to LSU. Big pickup for the Tigers. He was able to make a play at the end of the game. Strip sack of Arkansas quarterback Cade Fortin. with 1 minute, 17 seconds left, clinched the win for LSU, keeping their college football hopes alive. Now, LSU, did they win the SEC West? I think I saw some of that on social media on Saturday. Again, I had a busy weekend, man. Had a wedding to DJ Friday in New Orleans. Then I had that commercial shoot on Saturday. Then I had a wedding Saturday night in Abbeville. So I thought I saw some fans posting that LSU won the SEC West. But it was a tough game for the Tigers. Arkansas took a 3-0 lead in the first. Then LSU scored 6 in the second, making it 6-3 going into half. Then LSU scored a touchdown in the third. Arkansas was scoreless. And then in the fourth quarter, Arkansas scored a touchdown. LSU didn't score any. But the man, Harold Perkins Jr., made a play, and LSU wins. Now, Harold Perkins Jr. played sick. He had the flu. So you mean to tell me he could play with the flu? He didn't have to have a mask on? There's no flu testing before the game? There were people in the crowd. Couldn't he give the other players? Because he likes to stand over the players and give them the business whenever he sacks them. Harold Perkins Jr. does. So he wasn't transmitting the flu to the other players. And there were people in the stands. They could have caught the flu as well. I hope you get my exaggeration there. But dude was sick, played sick. I think, again, not hating on that. Just kind of joking about the previous situation when it comes to testing and not being on the field, not playing, not being in the locker room. Remember that a year or two ago? But you can play with the flu, which rightfully you should be able to. Tough kid, toughed it out. Threw up before the game, still went out on the field. Now, he is being compared to Michael Jordan's flu game, if you remember, back in 1997 against the Jazz. And Coach Brian Kelly told that to Harold Perkins Jr. And Harold Perkins Jr. said, quote, "Who's MJ?" So Brian Kelly said, MJ, not Michael Jordan. And Harold said, "Who's MJ?" You know what just proves Harold Perkins Jr. is a man? His name, Harold. That's a man's name. Dude will be playing on Sunday. Let's hope he stays healthy. 2 forced fumbles, 4 sacks, 8 tackles. But he played sick. And a lot of people compared it to Michael Jordan's flu game. And Harold didn't even know who MJ was when Brian Kelly told him about it. So I guess he probably Googled it, went to YouTube, watched it. But a win is a win is a win for any team, whether it's LSU, Dartmouth, Gonzaga, or the Saints. A win is a win is a win. Got to get that W no matter what. But the Saints didn't get that W yesterday, man. Whew. We are not a good football team. We are not a good football team. Andy Dalton is not a good quarterback. Him or Jameis Winston. You know, at this point, Dennis Allen, put Jameis Winston back in. And I think he was asked that at a press conference, and he didn't really answer that question. I don't think he was directly asked about Jameis Winston, but he was asked about the quarterback situation. We lost to the stinking Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. The horrible Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we had a lot of injuries. We did. I don't know if we would have won, even if we would have had everyone there. I fell asleep after halftime. Slept most of the third quarter. Woke up in the fourth quarter. 20-10 final score. Pittsburgh Steelers 3-6, New Orleans Saints 3-7. Now, we didn't have Andrews Pete, didn't have Eric McCoy, didn't have Marshawn Lattimore, didn't have Marcus Davenport, didn't have Marcus May, didn't have Pete Werner. Then we lost left tackle James Hurst. Landon Young replaced him. So we had a lot of backups in there. But still, we were playing okay with backups. And it was the Steelers, man. Steelers not good. Thought we had a shot to win, but we didn't. Andy Dalton, 17 of 24, 174 yards with 1 touchdown, 2 second-half interceptions. Alvin Kamara, 8 times he ran for 26 yards. We saw Jarvis Landry come back, had 3 catches for 37. Juwan Johnson had the team's only touchdown, a 15-yarder at the end of the second quarter. 1 in 5 receptions. Olave got smoked. You remember that? But he had 3 catches for 40 yards. I like Olave. He's the real deal. If he could just get somebody to throw the football to him. The Saints struggled on third down. Next up for the Saints, the Rams on Sunday inside the Caesars Superdome. What's the Rams record? Because they're not doing great either. I can pull that up because we're live. So the Rams are last in the NFC West, 3-6. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that about the Rams, 3-6? It's going to be a garbage matchup for the Saints, just like it was against the Steelers. And look, I'm still positive about the Saints. I'm not jumping off the bandwagon. But at this point in the season and what's been happening, we're not a good football team. So we should have beat the Steelers. Now, after we played so great against the Raiders, we played a great team in the Ravens, but lost to them. Now we got the Rams coming up. I mean, the Rams will cheat again and beat us. Got San Francisco on the road. We're not going to beat them. Tampa Bay on the road, probably not going to beat them. Let's hope we beat the Falcons at home. Cleveland, who knows? Philadelphia on January 1, that's how we're going to ring in 2023 with the Saints playing the hot Eagles. And then Carolina Panthers, last game of the season. I hope we can beat the Panthers at the end. But it is a noon kickoff on Sunday. I went 12. What did I predict? Oh yeah, 12-5 for the season. For those that call me an idiot, good call. Good call. You were right. I was wrong. So that's our Planet Pigskin update powered by Pass a Lick Cajun Seasoning, passalick.com. Check them out online. Oh, you know what we forgot to mention today? Hang on, let me pull it up real quick before we wrap up. Man, sad situation in Dallas at that air show, right? Saw the video of that on social media over the weekend. 2 classic vintage airplanes, vintage military aircraft collide at a air show in Texas. 6 people passed away. I'm not going to show the video, but you can see it online if you want. And both aircraft involved, very rare. One, the B-17, part of the collection of the Commemorative Air Force, nicknamed Texas Raiders. And it was kept in a hangar in Conroe, Texas, near Houston. The P-63, even a more rare aircraft. Some 14 examples are known to survive, 4 of which in the U.S. were airworthy, including 1 owned by the Commemorative Air Force. So the P-63 and the B-17 owned by the Commemorative Air Force. Sad situation. 6 people lost their lives at this air show. But that's going to wrap up our Planet, I was going to say Planet Pigskin Update. Going to wrap up our Power Hour today. 8 until 9. We go in on some of the stories and headlines of the day. Go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So if you miss all this content, you missed anything last week, got all the shows up there. We're also on Spotify, Planet Power Hour with Chris Logan. You can find us there. And we got the podcast coming soon on Apple Podcast and Google Podcast. But I want to thank you for listening this morning. Thanks for watching the live. Thanks for commenting. All that stuff. We'll do it again tomorrow morning at what time? 8 a.m. Now back to the music on the Planet 90s and 2000s rock.